When we first get them, they are very, nervous of us, but we just spend a long time just kind of making friends with them, basically.
And then they feel better and then they trust you.
My name is Rebecca Louise, and I'm a fitness entrepreneur, an advocate for animal welfare, and an ambassador for Four Paws. I am on a journey visiting my friends at Four Paws across the globe and seeing all the amazing work they do for animal welfare worldwide.
I'm here in Ninh Binh in Vietnam at the Four Paws Sanctuary for bears. There are almost 50 bears here at this amazing sanctuary, and they've all been rescued from the bile industry. And I'm so excited to share with you a little bit more about what has happened to these incredible bears. We are going to get to feed some bears today. We're going to get to meet some of the people who've been looking after these bears, people who've been on the rescue missions as well. So I'm so excited to show you around. So let's go meet some bears.
First, I'm joined by Charlotte Paul, who is the Chief Animal Caretaker here at the BEAR SANCTUARY Ninh Binh.
We've got a busy morning planned in Bear House 1 for you today.
All right, let's do it.
So we'll go and start doing some food prep.
Fantastic. So excited to be here.
We're going to have to prepare their breakfast first. They will not be happy if we turn up without food. So we've got some chopping for you to do. So between 7:30 and 8:30, the keepers prepare the bears' breakfast and their enrichment for the morning. And then we start feeding the bears at 8:30.
And how many people do you have that prepare the food?
We have a team of 15 altogether, but usually every day we have about 10 keepers in.
And some of the bears have favorite foods as well, because I've been to a couple of sanctuaries and some bears are like very specific with what they love.
Usually it's sweet things, but we do have the odd bear like Koi who prefers his like kind of dog food and his eggs to the fruit and things like that.
And how many bears do we have here?
We have 49.
49 bears, okay,
Yes.
wow. That's a lot to look after.
Yes.
So what are we going to be doing this morning?
So we're basically going to, the keepers have prepared the food and the enrichment for us. And then we basically call the bears into the house every morning. We have to give anybody who's on medication their morning medication. We make sure everyone's okay, do a quick scan and a quick health check of everybody. We then go and clean their outside enclosures, put out their food and their enrichment, and then we let them out. And then we can clean their inside dens when they're outside eating.
Okay. And what kind of medicine are they having? What's this?
They have everything and anything. We have, a lot of our bears have hypertension, so they're on blood pressure medication. A lot of our bears are arthritic. Yeah, so if you live in a box like this your whole life, your body kind of fuses.
Yeah.
And if you're on a metal surface and you can't turn around and you've got poor diet, and these bears have been in this position for 20 years.
Bile bears are typically Asiatic black bears, which are kept in captivity in many countries in Southeast Asia in order to harvest their bile. Bile is a fluid produced in the liver and stored in the gallbladder and is used by some practitioners of traditional Asian medicine. Despite the availability of alternatives, bear bile is still extremely expensive and can be extracted weekly, often resulting in a lifetime of pain and suffering for these poor bears.
Like, you wouldn't believe, like, when they arrive, some of them you're like, oh my God, like, is this bear ever gonna go outside and bounce back? And then within 6 months, it's amazing.
Hello. Charlie then takes me to where all the food and medicine are prepared.
So all their medicine is put in a smoothie. So every day, watermelon and banana smoothies, go down a treat.
And this is the watermelon and banana smoothie
Yes.
that most of them like.
Yes. But Zan doesn't like smoothies, so she has it all in honey.
I think it's hilarious that some of them are like, no, I don't want a banana.
I know, they honestly,
I
they
like
very
honey, and now you've got a bear that doesn't like honey.
They very quickly become spoiled when they're here. And they kind of wrap us around their fingers.
Yeah.
When we first get them, they are very, nervous of us. Zan, like I said, was very aggressive, but we just spend a long time just kind of making friends with them, basically, and that's always through their stomachs. So they soon learn that,
And then they feel better, and then they trust you, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
and we're very careful, like who does what. Like, so, because I look after the bears on a daily basis, and I need them to trust me. I need them to take medication from me. I want them to come close to me so I can check them. So I never do anything horrible to them. Whereas the vets who dart them when they need their health checks, they'll come up and I'm not around, so they don't see me, so they don't know that I'm part of it.
and that's on purpose,
Yeah,
because otherwise they don't trust you, because they don't trust the vets.
Yeah, so they're pretty good. Like, I've worked with monkeys before, and monkeys are very clever. So monkeys are like, they see the vet coming and they're gone. I come in afterwards and I'm like,
So you're like the nice parent.
yeah. And then they're like, oh, Charlie's nice. That's what the person is.
I didn't see her behind.
Yeah. And it just means though that I can get really close, and then if there's a problem, I can see it, I can check it, I can medicate them, and you've got to have good guys and bad guys.
Yeah.
You can see Yearn's chewed all her claws off. So
she's done that.
Yeah, so a lot of them will forever. The stereotyping does get better once they arrive here, but you know, you're never going to erase what's happened to them.
No.
So when she becomes upset or stressed or worried, she just bites her fingernails like we do. I think people seem to think, they go, well, how long does it take to rehabilitate a bear? And I'm like,
yeah.
Forever.
Forever.
It's never done.
It's full
like,
time.
these guys have been traumatized. They will never be fixed. They will always have to contend with health issues. They will always have to contend with mental health issues.
Next, we check out some of the enrichment techniques used at BEAR Sanctuary Ninh Binh.
Bears are really smart, so we've got to try and keep them interested and slow down their feeding. And obviously we do hide the food everywhere around the enclosure, but then it's also good to do extra enrichment as well. So you know, we've got all these kind of various devices. You can hang these up and make the bears kind of stretch up for their food. You can put kind of like scents or kind of jam or honey in these and kind of make them like they would in the wild with a log. The balls, they do like to play with their balls. We've got feed nets, so we stuff that full of straw, and then we put their food in. They've got to like manipulate it to pull it out.
Yeah.
So they're really dexterous. They're really clever. So the more things we can do with them, the better.
Yeah, just to keep them stimulated.
Yeah.
In 2022, Four Paws had their biggest bile bear rescue to date.
This is Zan. So she was from our 9-bear rescue in February. So she used to be, when we first got her, she was so aggressive towards us, like really quite frightening, like growling at us, throwing herself against the bars. But it was just all out of fear. Whereas you can see now, she's really quiet, really calm, and she's just waiting for her medicine.
Yeah.
She knows she's getting
Because what was her story? Where did she come from?
So she came from a farm down in the south of Vietnam, and she'd been in there for minimum 20 years.
And what were they using her for?
Bile.
For bile.
She was living with in someone's back garden, basically, in a concrete cell, and there was another bear T on the other side of her, but they couldn't see each other, and there was a wall dividing them. So we recently lost T. We had to put her to sleep last week, and we found like a 4-inch needle in her spleen, which someone had snapped off. When they collect bile in Vietnam, they'll very lightly anaesthetize the bear, so it's kind of loopy.
Drowsy. Yeah.
But so they can manhandle it, but the bear can feel everything and they can kind of see what's going on. So they'll pull it out of the cage. They often have to like, pin it down or tie it down with ropes, and then they basically get a long injection to basically stab it into the gallbladder and then pull out the bile. But they're not using ultrasound or anything, so they don't know where. So they're just stabbing randomly till they find the gallbladder. So obviously this needle went into the spleen, and obviously she would have been moving and it would have snapped off.
And then it's just in your body.
Yeah. So that we see a lot of, it's not only the gallbladder that is severely damaged, but also the liver gets a lot of hits as well. So these guys have liver disease.
To find it.
Yeah. And
how much is there? Does it reproduce the bile in the stomach? So you can do this how many times?
Every week.
Every week, because it reproduces that quickly.
Yeah. In the bile farm bears, if they live in crates, when they arrive here, they've seen. Basically, the bear will put the food on the back of their paw and eat off their paw. And that's a behavior they've taught themselves in the farms, because if you drop your food, it falls through the bars and then you don't get to eat. So they know if I balance my food on my hand.
They were living on, like, hold on,
metal bars.
So metal bars.
So they keep them nothing. So they keep them off the floor.
Why is that?
Because then all the poo and the food falls through, and then they don't have to clean them.
So they're literally lying on
concrete or metal
just
bars.
And what's the gap between them?
Like
that?
Yeah, I mean you'll see their feet like when
you're lying down and there's nothing comfortable at all.
No, they're uncomfortable their whole lives.
Yeah.
This little lady is Nui. Now she was at the opposite end of the spectrum, so she is the skinniest bear we've ever rescued. She came in at 49 kilograms and she should have been twice that. I've never seen such a skinny animal. And she was living in kind of a crate. Like basically what you see where she sits would just fit around her. And it was like metal bars with chicken wire around her.
And how long for?
Well, we never get out the truth.
Yeah.
But at least 17 years. But
heartbreaking, isn't it?
She's had a lot of, different health problems since she's been here. You can see on her paw there that pink scarring. So that might be from where she was snared and captured from the wild. A lot of our bears lose the whole paw, so they're on 3 legs, but obviously she managed to survive it.
And why is that?
It's like a wire. So the wire goes tight and then the bear's stuck. And then obviously she survived it, but then a lot of them, basically I think that whole paw would be dead tissue then, and then they just get them hacked off, and then they survive and they stay in the farms.
How many bears are left in captivity in Vietnam?
Well, that we know of, 300.
300.
182 in Hanoi. But those are the ones that are legal bears that are microchipped that the government know about. We are still getting calls about illegal bears who are not microchipped.
And how much more capacity have you guys got here?
We're full.
We
We do have plans for 3 more bear houses, but
Yeah.
we have to build them first, and then we'll have a capacity for maybe about 100 bears.
After the morning round of medicine is done, it's time to prepare the food, which we'll scatter outdoors for the bears to find.
So where do you get all of the food from? Is it donated? Is it
we
the
buy it
end
local.
of the, you purchase everything?
Yeah,
locally.
everything is local. It gets delivered. I think we get delivery once a week. So we try and give them kind of a bit more varied diet. We do give them the leafy greens like sweet potato leaves and morning glory, and the cabbages. It's not always their favourite. They do prefer like the root veggies, like the sweet potato and the carrot and the pumpkin.
Because they're a bit sweeter. Yeah. Who
likes
doesn't?
cabbage?
Yeah. Who likes cabbage anyway? And then we were just having this discussion because some people are going to be watching this going, is this a pumpkin or is this a squash?
To me, it's a squash.
So here it's a squash.
Here we call it a pumpkin.
Here we call it a pumpkin. All right, Vietnam we call it a pumpkin. This is a, wow, yeah. It's quite a machete. So that's good enough?
Yeah, that's fine.
Just
for
like
them.
that?
Yeah. So I'll let you chuck the veggies out. So you kind of like, you want to kind of just throw it anywhere. Make them exercise.
Okay. Excellent. And they always find it, right?
Oh yeah, their noses are incredible.
It really feels jungly, like it feels so much like this is their natural habitat.
Yeah, well, we let it grow as thick as possible, really, because you can hide them. I mean, if it was just a lawn, they'd find that food so quickly.
Yep.
And also, like you said, we want to try and replicate their habitat in the wild, and they wouldn't be living on nice, manicured lawns. They'd be living out in the jungle.
While currently home to 47 bears, there are still plans to build more enclosures at Bear Sanctuary Ninh Binh, as there are still many bears left to be rescued in Vietnam.
So in 2005, the government wanted to kind of really get a handle on the bear bile industry. So they said no more extracting bile from bears. But obviously at the time there were thousands of bears in farms, so where would you put thousands of bears? There were not enough rescue centres.
Yeah.
So basically they microchipped all the bears and said that they are all legal, you can keep them, but you must sign a disclosure saying you will not extract bile from them. So any bear captured after 2005 wouldn't have a 2005 microchip, so they are known as illegal bears. So the authorities have the right to go in and seize those bears.
Okay, so they can keep the bears, they just can't extract the bile, but that's not what's happening.
It's very hard to regulate.
While the bears come out to search for food, the demanding work continues inside.
You hose out down towards the drain.
Okay.
And then you're going to give it a scrub with the soap and then hose out again.
And how often do you do this, Charlie?
We do this every morning. So yeah, we clean the bear houses every morning. My day changes pretty much every day. When I was hand rearing the cubs in the summer, then I was only with the babies. There's always things going on. So if we've got a bear in quarantine after a rescue, then I'll work in there. And because it's in quarantine, I can't come in here.
Yeah, because you just recently rescued a bear, right?
Yeah,
How
2
long
weeks ago.
2 weeks ago.
He's got 1 more week in quarantine.
1 more week in quarantine.
And then he is in the bear house.
Do you like working with the little cubs? Yeah.
Who doesn't?
Yeah.
They're so cute. They obviously, like, I think when we first got them, everyone was like, oh, you're so lucky to look after baby bears. And I'm like, but it was actually just, for me, just more heartbreaking. Like,
right.
Because you're watching these 2 tiny babies who are coming to me for comfort. It's actually just more heartbreaking. Like 4 days ago, you were in the rainforest with your mother. And now 4 days later, you've been tied to the back of a motorbike in a sack for sale. and now you're here. I mean,
So do you hand with them? So you're like, are you holding them?
yeah, well, we would sit on the floor with them and they jump on your lap and then get the bottles, and then they just want to play with you and wrestle. So Em was quite gentle baby. Bay was very boisterous, so she was a lot more, she doesn't mean to hurt you, but when she would stand up and come over like this, and they've got claws like anteaters, so she'd be like, Mum, and you're like, no.
Wow.
After all the behind-the-scenes work is done, it's time to check out the rest of the sanctuary's facilities, like, for example, the veterinary clinic.
This is our veterinary clinic.
How many vets are on staff?
We've got 2 vets here, full-time.
Full-time. We're like, you were in the middle of nowhere, and what would happen if you didn't have vets on hand?
We couldn't really cope without our vets. These bears have intensive management for their health every day. So we're constantly having to deal with their ongoing health issues. So we do need our vets to be here regularly, full-time basically. So they're always on call for the bears if they need them.
Because something is happening every day. I mean, with 49 bears and the conditioning that the bears are coming, it's almost like an intensive care unit.
These aren't 49 healthy young bears. These are 49 ex-bile farm bears. So they come in with really chronic illnesses, and you can kind of see from our medication boards that it takes us about an hour every day to make up the bear's medication for the following day.
Wow. And even just yesterday, this room was being used for surgery.
Yes, we've had 3 surgeries this week.
3 surgeries this week.
For gallbladder removal, cholecystectomies. So basically, if the gallbladders have a persistent infection, or if they have gallstones in, or if they see some kind of like structural abnormalities which can be caused through constant stabbing with the needles, all those things can basically cause the gallbladder to be very painful. So it has to come out because it's not fair on the bears, and it'll improve their quality of life if they're pain-free.
Wow, this is an amazing facility. And then this is the scale.
Yes.
This is bear scale.
This is a bear scale. You can jump on it if you dare.
Yeah, I mean, how many bear? What part of a bear am I? The bottom part.
You're probably like a third.
A third
of a bear.
A baby bear.
You're bigger than a baby bear, but you're still smaller than our biggest adult bear.
Okay. Yeah. This goes to show they're big bears.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Charlie takes me up to the skywalk, which gives visitors a bird's eye view of the sanctuary. I take this chance to pick her brain a bit about the rehabilitation program.
One of the bears is in quarantine right now because you just rescued a bear. And so what's the plan when a bear comes in, and how do you integrate it with the rest of the bears?
So the rehabilitation process is actually quite long for these bears. After they're rescued, they go straight into our quarantine building. They have to be quarantined for 3 weeks, and that's to make sure there's no disease being spread from them to our bears here that are already residents. So they'll be here for about a week to settle in. Then we do a first health check on the bear. We check their eyes, their teeth. We do ultrasound of their vital organs. Obviously this is really important in bile bears because usually the gallbladder, the kidneys, the liver, the heart, it's all had the toll taken on it over the years of abuse. So then we'll, once we know more about their health, we can put a proper treatment plan in place for them.
Yeah.
Once they finish quarantine, we then move them to a bear house. And this kind of usually depends on what space we have and kind of what the bear's personality is like. We have to take everything at the bear's own pace. So I think a lot of people think we just open the slide and the bear frolics out into freedom, like, outside space, this is great. It's not like that at all. You got to remember these bears have lived 20 years in a box. So if you, just like a person, if you just open the door and let them go out, it's very overwhelming. So we basically have to do a really slow process. And we make it really positive. So we'll just kind of put lots of fruit and honey out just in front of the dens. And the first couple of days, we just want you to put your head out. We want you to put your head out, have a look around, take it all in, and then they come back. And then every time they come back to the den, they get a reward because they need to know that the den is the safe space.
Well, thank you so much for showing me around on the skywalk, and also our incredible morning feeding all the bears and putting out in the enrichment. So I really appreciate all the work that you're doing here. It's amazing to see the difference that you've made. So thank you so much for all of your contribution.
Yeah, no worries. Thanks for coming.
Yeah, excellent. So nice to meet you, Charlie.
Yeah, see you later.
Wow, what an intense first day here at BEAR Sanctuary Ninh Binh. I'm so excited to see what's next.
Today is a very special day here at this sanctuary because we have an unbelievable event where over 100 people have flown in to celebrate the 5th anniversary of the very first bear that was rescued here in Vietnam by 4 Paws. This is going to be an unbelievable event. I can't wait to show you around, so let's go see who's here.
Today we are very happy to welcome you to the 5th year anniversary of the first bear rescue.
This event is absolutely amazing. We even ran into Afram from our time in Kosovo at Bear Sanctuary Pristina, as well as many other 4 Paws colleagues from across the globe. Experiencing local tradition and cuisine is also important, and I can't imagine leaving here without trying some legendary Vietnamese food.
I'm off to meet Chang, who is the visitor's service at the sanctuary, and she's going to help me around the market to go find some fresh vegetables.
Hi Rebecca, my name's Chang, nice to meet you.
Loads of different types of vegetables.
Yeah.
Everyone can make an impactful, positive contribution towards animal welfare, even in something like your choice of ingredients. And as the most animal-friendly diet is a plant-based one, today we'll be making vegan spring rolls.
Carrot. Oh, carrot.
Oh, carrots. That's a big carrot.
Yeah. I think small one.
One more?
Yeah.
After saying goodbye to Trang, I realized I've worked up an appetite, so let's hit the kitchen.
I am now joined by Duyen, who is our head chef here at our sanctuary in Vietnam. We're going to be making some traditional vegan Vietnamese spring rolls, and I definitely can't do this alone. So thank you very much for joining me. I'm definitely going to need your help. So far we have got 2 potatoes and we have kind of shredded them up. And then we've also done that with 1 carrot. We put it in the water just to make sure that everything is nice and clean, and then we have drained it right here, so that's perfect. Then we've got our glass bowl right here, and in it we've got some mushrooms that we've kind of chopped up, like not super finely. We've also got some of our noodles, and then we've got some onions that are pretty much chopped up. Okay, so cutting the garlic into strips and then also into tiny little pieces as well, so getting that nice and fine. Very beautiful cutting. So she's put the potato and the carrots on top, and now we're just cutting up some spring onion. Now we're putting all the cilantro in, putting all of the spring onion in, and we're gonna mix that too. Okay, so this is rice paper, just rice, it's just made of rice. Okay, so just 1 piece. Okay. So just wrap it over like this. And then you put the sides down. Yeah, you see? Professional, not a professional.
This fantastic meal was a wonderful way to conclude our time here at Bear Sanctuary
Well,
Ninh Binh.
Duyen, thank you so much for showing me how to make these. I'm pretty confident that I can do it myself, and they taste unbelievable, so thank you so much. Wow, what an incredible experience it's been with 4 Paws. First we were in Switzerland, then we went to Kosovo, Bulgaria, and now here in Vietnam. It's been so impressive to see what 4 Paws are doing around the world to help our 4-legged friends. And you can help too. You might feel like just you doing something won't make a difference, and I'm telling you, the ripple effect by you taking action today is going to change the game for our animals. We've added in all the details below, how you can sign petitions, sign up for our newsletter, and also donate. And most importantly, just share this video. Share this video with someone today, like it, so that you can contribute to animal welfare around the world.